Hi everybody, take 4. Yes, take 4. This is the 4th time I've tried to make this video because I've been making mistakes. And I know projects don't have to be perfect, but I don't want to give you the wrong information. Sometimes I just go ahead and do it and then I apologize later, like when I did colors and I said that yellow and green make blue. Or blue and red make blah. Yeah, so adults make mistakes too, and that's okay. That's how we learn things, right? So I am here today to talk to you about another thing about rocks that I love, and that is Inuksuks. Have you ever heard of an Inuksuk? Have you ever seen one of these? I'm thinking that maybe you have seen them, because I have. I've seen them out in the neighborhood when I'm walking around. A lot of people like to build them up for out in their gardens. Now typically I see this kind, the kind that are just stacked one on top of another. This was a picture taken at Door County. That's Miss Maddie's hand. And there is a beach there called White Pine Beach. And they have these amazing flat rocks, flat stones all over the place. I am constantly picking them up. And when we were there, me and Maddie took this picture because we stacked up a little Inuksuk on the shore. And it's really fun to make them. They are very complicated and they are very simple. I'll show you some examples and I'll show them to you again later. And it's kind of fun. See, there's one that looks like a puppy. One can look like an animal. And then the one I just showed you, that's just stacked. Just a bunch of flat rocks stacked on top of each other. But they also served a purpose. They may still serve a purpose, but not as much as way back. A lot of these Inuksuks are thousands of years old. They were used for communication. It's a powerful symbol, and they originated in Canada. The Inuit tribe started using them as a way to communicate. It was a way to communicate to visitors. It was a way to communicate to perhaps people who are coming to trade with them. They would build one to show that a beautiful field was a great place to go hunting, that there were many bison or deer or whatever else they were hunting there. Sometimes they would do an Inuksuk by the water's edge to signify that that was a great place to go fishing. That they had gotten a bountiful supply of fish from that lake. Other times they would use it to maybe just show respect for someone maybe who had passed, almost like a gravestone. They'd build one on top of one of their loved ones just to remember that they were there and to pay their respects when they walked by it again. Or they would use it to show direction. Like this one is kind of pointing that way, and it would almost be telling a traveler or a trader who is coming to visit you, this is the direction you want to go to come and find me, or to find the summer camps. A lot of times a bunch of different groups of people would separate in the winter time, and they would come together in the summer for a big celebration. So a lot of these would show them the paths to and from that celebration. That maybe they went to years and years, so all they had to do was look for those Inuksuks. A lot of times the Inuksuks would be high up so they could see them. Those are when they're high up on the rocks, like this one's pretty high up on a rock, it's so you'll be able to see it from far away, and you'll know that you're going in the right direction, and you can just keep looking for those Inuksuks. And one Inuksuk might be pointed this way, and then the next one this way, to tell you now you need to turn and go this way. So they were very important to the people of those times for communication. They didn't have cell phones. They didn't have a post office. The best ways they could communicate was by foot, which took a long time, by horse, which took a long time too, or with Inuksuks. They used the Inuksuks to communicate with. It also designated a family home. Sometimes it would show, like, let's say this one was outside Miss Penley's tiny house. This is Miss Penley's home. And this is welcoming you to my home. I welcome you, and I'm very happy to have you here. And then if it's maybe one of your enemies, you'll go, oh, I better go away, because that is the symbol, Inuksuk, of that person that I don't like very much. But the Inuksuks are very interesting to make. You can, like I said, you can just pile stones, but it's also very much about balancing. And you're going to see that in my later video, how I'm gonna show you how I stack one, just the normal one, and then I'm gonna make a people one for you. And things fall, and you just pick them up and put them back together again. So you're always balancing and trying to keep them staying still. So some people have started to use glue and also like clay to glue them together so they'll stay. Because sometimes I see them in people's gardens and they're round. So they're like one like this, and one like this, and one like this, and there's no way those three are going to stay up, right? And so they glue them together. Sometimes they put holes through them, so they have a wire or a pole right through them. So I just want to make sure that I told you everything. When people build them, they have an intention for building them. Oh, there's also one, they'll build an Inuksuk over their cache of food. They didn't have refrigerators in those days, so they used to dig a hole and maybe surround it with stones, because stones hold on to the cold. If you pick up a stone, they're usually cold, right? So it's like a little refrigerator under the ground, because the ground insulates it too, the dirt. And they would cover it with dirt, and then they'd put an Inuksuk on top of it. So when they came back in the summer, they could dig it up, and they'd put dried meat there and herbs, and I'm sure dried fish and other things, maybe some cornmeal and some flour and other things that they would use that would stay, that wouldn't spoil. And so they would show where their food cache is. I almost forgot to tell you about that one. So that's the Inuksuks. And the next video, what's going to follow this, is me making Inuksuks and challenging you to make your own. So here we go. Hi. I forgot to show you, there are some great books out there about Inuksuks. This one just tells you about the history of the Inuksuk and the Inuit people and the traditions and other things that they use the Inuksuk for. And then this one's great. It's called Make Your Own Inuksuk. And it's got all sorts of ideas for you. It gives you detailed explanations of how to do it, and it shows you all the different kinds of Inuksuks. You can even make one with bricks. So I just wanted to make sure to show you those books. So now we're going to start doing our Inuksuks. So the first thing you need is you need a base. You need a base. This is actually from the classroom. It's a tic-tac-toe thing. And if you guys were here, I would have had some flat stones for you to play, white ones and black ones, to play tic-tac-toe. But I'm going to use it as my base because it's nice and flat. And that's another thing you need to do for Inuksuks. You really need to find some that are really flat. So I'm going to first just do a stacking Inuksuk. Okay? So you want to collect a bunch of flat stones of all sizes. Probably for you guys, just try to make sure that they fit in your hands or smaller. Don't do anything great big with great big rocks unless you're going to have a parent helping you. So let's see, I've got about 15 rocks here. I'm probably not going to stack that many, but I just am going to look at the sizes. And I'm going to start with the biggest one, and I'm going to keep stacking. And see how I'm not just going like this. Now that might be great, but when I put the next one on, oh! So you have to really take your time and balance. And if something like that happens where it falls off, then you just start over again and you start balancing. So you just have to do it very carefully. And maybe you could have a game with your friend, your brothers and sisters, and say who can stack the most rocks. So this would be a great adventure down by the river too, because I know a lot of you like to go down to the river and explore. Okay, let's see. I've got, not counting the base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if this one will stay on top. It's not gonna, So what do? I don't cry, I don't go, well, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I say, I am gonna start over again. And maybe, see, I'm going to reconfigure and see if I can get it past 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm thinking I'm going to switch these two. Nope. Nope. I'm thinking I'm taking that one out. Oh my goodness. Okay. And that's the other thing. You might just have to turn the rock over, you know. Maybe it's a better surface stacking on the other side. Okay, I'm still just at 5. Oh, okay, I'm thinking I'm going to get rid of this one because that one's not very flat. Maybe 5. Nope. No. Oh, well, you get the picture. I think I can only do 5, but just keep stacking. I mean, they're really cool. And then when you get to that point, when you get to the stacking point that you're at, when you get to that point and you can maybe should I try 7? When you get to that point, you can just leave it there. Now, other people do like to glue them together. So you could certainly glue them together too, all right? I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to show you how to do the person form. So the person form of the Inuksuk, you need 2 feet. So I've got these, they're actually wishing rocks. I've got these 2, and then you need a base. You need a nice flat base for the first part of the body. So you're going to balance it on there like that. Ooh, look at the texture in the front. And then I'm going to take another flat rock to form more of the body. I think maybe I'll turn it that way to make it a little more stable. And then you're going to do the belly. Let me see, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to look at my picture because I took a picture of it. Oh, the arms. Then you're going to do the arms. Oh, what did I do with my arms? There's one. There, I see them. And see, the arms I'm using are just 2 longer flat rocks, and I'm going to put them like this. I'm going to kind of put them so they're out. I'm going to pull this back a little bit. Okay? And then you're going to want to do your neck or your body pieces on here. So I'm going to go like this. I'm taking 2 rocks and putting them together, and then I'm going to put this for the neck, and then I've got a rounded rock for the top, and I'm going to pick this up so you can see it at a little better angle, and there you have it, an Inuksuk. Oh gosh, it's not showing, the light's not showing it very well. There you have it, a little Inuksuk. See his little hands? He's kind of a ninja Inuksuk because I don't know if you saw on his head, it's got kind of this, his face is kind of shaped like a ninja turtle. So this is my ninja Inuksuk. There's a better picture of it on Facebook. But that's all you need. So just get some flat stones, some regular stones, and most importantly, don't get frustrated, okay? Don't get frustrated because it's all about what you're putting into it. The person who creates this, you create it thinking of something like, I'm going to create an Inuksuk that's going to represent my home. I'm going to create an Inuksuk to show people that there's peace in this garden. I'm going to create an Inuksuk because I miss my grandma and she just died, and this is going to go in my garden, and every time I look at it, I'm going to think of her because she was a strong woman. The Inuksuks is a symbol of our close connection with the earth, and it sends a powerful message about our place in the world. It symbolizes a balance between people and nature. And you know how I love nature. And you know how right now is a great time to go out and explore. So get out there, find your stones, don't get frustrated, do the best you can. Projects don't have to be perfect. Feel it from your heart and have fun with it. Make a bunch. And if you do make one, will you please send me a picture? I would love to see if you made a creation of an Inukshuk. They are really cool and they are really fun, and I would love to see it. Okay? Have fun with this. And next week, we are going to be talking about Beatrix